Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business B.E.A.R podcast. It's so wonderful to have you along for another riveting episode. Before we get started and break down what we're going over today, let's talk about the Business B.E.A.R podcast and what it is. So it's actually an acronym. B.E.A.R stands for Business Expansion, Assistance, and Retention, which is the ultimate aim of Garrett County business development. We love to talk with our local movers and shakers in the economic development community, including our local businesses, some professionals and officials in economic development, and our resource partners that help make things happen. I've got an info-packed episode for you today where we're going to break down the business development role. That's right, what do I do here in business development? I'll tell you some more exciting projects coming up in 2024, and we'll get some information out there that you need to know so that you're armed and ready to tackle your business needs with the best tools available. Before we get started, I like to remind everyone that the opinions voiced by either myself or any guests of this program are their own and do not reflect that of Garrett County Business Development or Garrett County Government. So today you're going to notice one important thing. Well, I don't have a guest with me today. Typically, I know we're pretty guest heavy here. We'd love to have our business professionals on just to talk to you and let you know what's going on here in the community. However, today I've got a lot of information to get out there and we didn't want to take from their episodes. So today is just solo with yours truly. That's right, Connor Norman. So I think one of the most important questions I've gotten since we started the program was people wanted to know a little bit more about what I do here with business development and how that role fits into the overall economic development initiatives in the county. So a bit about myself. For those that aren't familiar, my name is Connor Norman and I am your Garrett County Business Development Specialist. In addition to this role, I've also been a local business owner for the last 15 years, dabbling in audio promotions. I got started off a little younger, and you might notice, he does have that voice for radio. Well, that's exactly where I came from. I moved to Garrett County around 19 years ago, going on 20 here in 2025, and immediately was accepted by the community. I'll admit, one of the first things I thought about Garrett County was a limitless potential. I thought you could be anything out here, and it turns out that you could. Not only was this place beautiful, but the potential for growth and business was just astronomical. I attended high school here at Southern Garrett High School, went on to Garrett College, spent a few years going to college in Pittsburgh, and then came back to really hammer home being Garrett County's favorite radio personality and the #1 DJ and MC in the area. I still don't know if I achieved that, but I earned the wonderful sobriquet as the voice of Garrett County for all my work, and I am blessed to have that title to this day. I initially got my feet wet in economic development around 8 years ago when I joined our Garrett County Chamber of Commerce. They had a committee called the Diplomat Committee, where we were able to volunteer and kind of put our feet into the economic development world, doing what we could to help support local businesses through ribbon cuttings, groundbreakings, and just being overall supportive. One of the most important aspects to Garrett County, I felt, was the fact that, well, the business community was very tight-knit. You could tell right away that you were very welcome to do business in this county, and anything that the community could do to support you in your efforts, they were going to get behind you. And I didn't know just how true that was until I got behind the scenes to see how some of the economic development initiatives work and some of the supportive services that come around our businesses. So roughly around 2 years ago, the position of business development specialist came available, and I, of course, was encouraged to apply. And I am so glad I did. It tied into my volunteer work that we were sort of already doing, but I was able to expand it and grow the position with several new programs, and we have just seen the department thrive since. Part of thriving, though, as you may know, is joining a great team, and I could not ask for better here in economic development. And if you do not know that team, I encourage you to go back to our very first episode where you can learn all about business development as an overview, where you're introduced to our business development manager, Kim Durst, and our agriculture business development specialist, Melissa Boyard. They are fantastic to work with, and I am so happy to be a part of this team. Like I said, go back to episode 1, learn a little bit more about them and the overview of the department. Today, we're going to be drilling down on what I do here as the business development specialist. There's a lot that goes into the role, but we're going to try to simplify it in a 101 and then break down each section individually. So let's break down what the primary role of the position is. What do I do primarily? So part of my major functions is called BRE, and we call that Business Retention and Expansion, which focuses around connecting to each one of our local businesses, and I'm talking every single one, down from the mom and pops in their shops maybe coming out of the garage, maybe working out of their homes, to the corporations that are in their big 150,000 square foot manufacturing facilities. It does not matter. I will go around and touch every single business at one point or another. And I'm glad I do, because it gives me an opportunity to learn where our businesses are thriving, learn where they're struggling, and how we can wager our resources to make sure that their business, again, is succeeding here in our community. So, what does that look like? Primarily, it's centered around business visits. I go around and develop relationships with all of our businesses. That includes their ownership, that includes their management staff, that includes their key staff members, from the top to the bottom, knowing their cast of characters, so that when they have an issue or need, I'm there to help fill the role by connecting them with what we have available or one of our various resource partners, and we'll break down exactly who they are later in this episode. Many of our businesses out there I've already connected with, but again, there are 974 that we know of, and more added every day. So it's a constant job and constant connection, but I am happy to be out there and happy to be doing it. Again, if I haven't connected with your business yet, I will be around to you, and I encourage you to reach out at any point. I'd love to get you on my calendar. So when I come out, I like to bring a business packet. And in these packets are several of our resources and materials, including various state programs, federal programs, and local programs. Things that are going to help you succeed. Again, tools in your toolbox to help you be the most efficient business owner, business manager, or employee, entrepreneur that you can be. We encourage startups. We encourage entrepreneurs. We encourage current businesses to expand. And we want to be there to help you. Part of your Business 101 class, your professors or your teachers would love to tell you, hey, the first thing you should do is make sure you're connecting with a local economic development office. Why should I do that? Because economic development is centered around you. It's centered around increasing the quality of life for a community. And that's where your Garrett County Business Development Office is. So we'll make one clarification. What is the difference between economic development and business development? Economic development is a broad role. It can fit everything from infrastructure projects, community planning, down to the very minute, helping a business get started. In business development, we help narrow the focus to center around our existing, new, and prospective businesses. And that can serve a broad role. Outside of doing business retention and expansion, or BRE, includes the marketing of our local business community, showing the world, both locally and abroad, what businesses we have right here in our backyard. It's why this podcast exists. It's why several other of the programs I'll break down later are out there to benefit our businesses. So if you haven't already, I really encourage you to follow Garrett County, Maryland Business Development Department on Facebook, Twitter, or X as Elon's calling it today, or LinkedIn, to keep up to date on all the latest happenings in our business community around Garrett County. We encourage our businesses to send us their news and press releases, big announcements, and so much more, so that we can make sure that we are connecting you and your prospective customers to the local community. This takes various forms, and let me tell you, it is a constant job. I have an ever prevailing mantra, motto, whatever you want to call it, that if you're not seen, you're not seen. And I 100% agree with that. If I can be out in front of other people representing our businesses, letting them know what we have here in Garrett County, it's constantly refreshing someone on what's available here in Maryland's westernmost county. Garrett County, after all, is a fantastic place to do business. We've got wide open spaces, clean air, mountains, lakes, trees, and so much more. One of the best places for outdoor recreation in the world, and we love to tell the story about what's available up here. And we love people that come up here vacationing, and we want them to continue to do so. We also want people to move here, bring their businesses, grow with us, and help us have a good time. That all ties back into economic development's overall mission of improving quality of life for all community members. So outside of these hats, I actually have quite a few more. One thing that's important to know is I also serve as a liaison between Garrett County government and our municipalities. So I go out and connect with each one of our towns, keeping up with their economic development needs, connecting with their business communities, and with their local mayors and town councils. So I go around every year to each meeting, making sure that I'm keeping up on the latest so that I can keep our business community informed and connected with potential resources. It is fun, and I will admit, it is a lot of work and a lot of travel, but I enjoy it because, again, I'm tied into the community so that I can make sure that you have the best information. And information and connection to resources is what helps you thrive as a business owner, as a manager, and as an employee. One of the most important things to the development of a business and in general, and possibly one of the best pieces of advice I can get, is that relationships are important. Developing a relationship is something that we strive to do. We want to make sure that you are connected with us and comfortable connecting with us whenever you have an issue so that we can be your number one advocates. It also helps us wager our resources if we can identify where the problem points are and where our successes are, which is our overall objective. One thing I say before every business visit begins that if we don't know each other now, we're going to be best friends by the end of the meeting. And I really mean that. Continuing on with what your business development specialist does, I am also charged with going out there and helping our new and prospective businesses. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow, I can help connect you with the resource partners you need to help get up and going. Again, one of the 101 things you're going to learn is connecting with your local economic development department is essential because you never know what can help your business. I know 10 years ago when I was cutting my teeth and getting started, if I had known half of the resources were available that I do now, I'd have been in a better spot and a lot more prepared to start my business. While every starting business, there is an element of risk, it's always good to have friends that can help mitigate that risk. It's also not uncommon to see me calling a business outside of the area asking if they want to make Garrett County home. When it comes to the growth of our businesses and the contributions to our economy, you can bet in some way, fashion, or form I'm involved. And finally, a nice little aspect of my job is I get to connect with our local arts communities, being a liaison between Garrett County government and our arts and entertainment districts. All of these aspects of the position tie into business development and overarching economic development. As with anything, it's kind of hard to talk about yourself and talk about your position because there's so much more that goes into it outside of a generic description. But those are our major points. And of course, if a lot of that interested you and you would like to know more, you can call me at any time. My number here, 301-334-7281, and my email, cnorman@garrettcounty.org. We want to make sure you're connected with that information. And you know what? I want to come out and do some business visits with you. Some of the greatest things about this position is connecting our businesses with our resources. And some of the biggest thing I mentioned was the marketing piece and some of the great programs we brought on board to connect every single business in Garrett County with, including our Business Spotlight program. We've had over 400 businesses take advantage of this program, and we want so many more to join. A Business Spotlight is very intuitive. What it does is draw attention from our local community and abroad to your business. Again, part of our charter is to show off what we have available here in Garrett County. And the spotlights help us achieve this. This is how. Believe it or not, with no extra effort on your end, once you give us permission to do so, we will go to your Facebook, we will go to your information sources, we'll go to your website, and we'll design a fetching ad for you. Now, this ad, we try to match themes, we try to match colors, we make sure your logo's in there, your address, your phone number, your mission statement, and something, if you don't have it on your website, we use some stock images, again, to draw attention to your business. We want to show you off. We're proud of our businesses here in Garrett County, and we want to make sure that people in our region know that you're here. The ultimate goal being, if they see your ad, they come into the county to patronize your business, I think that's a win for all of us. The overarching motto we love to use, quote from President Kennedy, "A rising tide lifts all ships," and that is true. If you benefit, we benefit, and we believe that wholeheartedly here. So the Business Spotlight, again, helps us to achieve this. We will design this ad and we push it out on our marketing platforms, making sure that you have the spotlight for a full day. Everything in the ad is designed to drive people towards your social media, towards your address, towards your phone number, and towards your door. We want to make sure that you are getting customers. We've used those spotlights for hiring ads. We try to make it make sense. Again, the overall objective of the spotlights is to bring attention to you, your business, and help send prospective customers your way. We're showing off, we like to strut a little bit, and the spotlights is how we do it. One other benefit we have for businesses is called our milestone program. Now, you may have seen in the papers, on social media, even on billboards, the milestone celebrations for our local businesses. We have been putting the spotlight on our businesses with the ads, but we wanted to make sure that we were celebrating the big moments behind our businesses and what they're achieving. Doing business for 1 year can be difficult. I know, I've done it. Doing business for 10 years, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, 100, you name it, that is such an accomplishment. And we think that's a big deal. And we want to make sure that we're celebrating those big deal moments. Does it go outside of maybe just a year milestone? Are you now getting started as a business? Do you need to do a ribbon cutting? We'll make that happen for you. Again, that is a milestone, your very first day. We want to make sure we're there celebrating you. Or maybe you've received a national recognition. Maybe you've received accolades or a specific award in your industry. We want to make sure we're celebrating that too. So, again, the Milestone program was created to celebrate you, your big deal moments, and help put that extra press, eyes, ears, and customers in your corner. It's always good to celebrate our businesses and remind our local community how our businesses have been engaged and active in our community. So, the milestone program, I can't talk about it enough. If your company is reaching a milestone and you hear this, you want to get connected with me, again, give me an email, cnorman@garrettcounty.org. Give me a call, 301-334-7281. I want to make sure that we're celebrating you. It's a big deal. We'll bring you in for one of our public sessions held here at the courthouse. They happen twice a month, and we make sure you're an agenda item. Perhaps coming into the courthouse doesn't work for you, and you need me to come out to present it to you at your business. I'm happy to do that too. Invite your friends, invite your family. We want to have a wholesome, collected celebration experience. And we want to remind you that we're behind you every step of the way. So, again, milestone program, if you're interested, if you have a milestone coming up, if you're opening your business, if you're receiving an award, let us know so that we can celebrate with you. Another program, you're listening to it right now, the Business B.E.A.R podcast. All those years in radio and audio entertainment, they weren't going to let me get away without doing some sort of program for our businesses, and I'm happy to do so. I've had several experiences doing podcasts in the past where I've done public affairs, we've done everything from trivia questions, so much more. Now it's time to talk about businesses and business, and I just love it. The Business B.E.A.R podcast has given a voice to our businesses, a 15 to 30 minute plus. I got to add the plus there because many of our episodes, as you notice, go beyond 30 minutes. Very few actually falling short of that time frame. But it's an opportunity for you to come in and talk all about your business. It's a good time to clarify things. It's a good time to let people know what your services are. It's good to remind people, where you came from, why you're doing what you're doing. The podcast can serve so many purposes and is an open forum where the spotlight is on you. That adds extra marketing value to you. We push it out on all of our marketing platforms and spared no expense to make sure wherever you're listening to podcasts, the Business B.E.A.R podcast is accessible. I've said this once, I've said it again. If you want to be on the show, I am happy to have you. We want to get you in my studio. It's up here at the Garrett County Courthouse, not hard to find. They'll direct you right up to me, and we'll get it going. It's very relaxed. It's kind of like a conversation that, thousands to millions of people might listen to. No pressure. Honestly, it's a really relaxed experience, and we want to have you in here to talk all about yourself, to talk about your business, and help add a face and voice to the business. We found that humanizing experience helps take sometimes businesses that seem larger than life and connecting them in with the community. It's also a great spot to tell people what you're doing out there. A lot of our businesses are very supportive of our local nonprofit organizations, our local teams, our local charity events. Many of our businesses help make our major events happen. And sometimes it's great to just tell that story. Before you consider buying outside of the county or not shopping local, sometimes it's wonderful to hear that story and help reaffirm why you're supporting that local business. One of the greatest things about business development is we are ever evolving to make sure that we are telling the story of our businesses, advocating, and connecting them in ways that are both modern and relevant. We want to keep up with the times and we want to keep up with you. So the programs that are coming down the pike are always going to be positioned to benefit our businesses the most. And I think the key is, and we've talked about this already, relationships being the most pivotal part of what I do. The more you connect with me, the more I connect with you, the more we know how and where to help and to be of usefulness. I want to give you one example of ways we made this work. So, one of the primary pain points around some of our smaller businesses happen to be around marketing. How do I take my small business and put myself out there? How do I garner new customers? How do I connect myself with an overarching community? So, we wagered our resources and offered the Small Business Marketing Grant, which connected our small businesses with up to $1,000 that they could spend on their marketing needs. That ranged everywhere from websites, signs, giveaways, t shirts and hats for their staff, social media ads, you name it. We had a whole list of different things. If it was arguably a marketing initiative, we were happy to get behind it and help support our local businesses. Just this last fiscal year, a historic offering, over 86 businesses benefited from our small business marketing grant, and we were happy to make that available to them. It was a first come, first served grant, and there's no guarantee it'll be available in the future. Grants are always at the mercy of a budget. However, if the funding is available again, we will certainly connect our business community to that information and make sure you have a chance to apply so that it can benefit your business too. Another grant we were able to make available was our outdoor dining grant. This was a fantastic grant that helped our restaurants with up to $5,000 for their outdoor dining spaces. Now, coming off of the pandemic era, there was a big emphasis on making sure people had plenty of room and space outside to eat. Recognizing this and hearing some of the pain points of our restaurants, we made these grants available to help those businesses. Now, both of these grant rounds are closed for this current fiscal year, but always be tuning in to our social media pages, our website to see if there might be another round opened up. You never know. It's why we're going through the effort of making sure that we're getting out there in newspapers, podcasts, social media to make sure that you are connected to our resources and our information. As we move forward, the economy naturally will ebb and flow. There will be different priorities around grants, and we always want to be talking to our community to identify where the needs are. Again, the conversation and the relationship are the most important piece because they help us to connect you. Maybe it's something I can't do for you, but I've got some resource partners through Garrett College, through Western Maryland Consortium, through SBDC. Many people don't know, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, that we have a consultant up at the college that will provide you with free business plan assistance. That's right, you can put together your business plan and have a professional look it over and help you with future development of that plan. It's absolutely free to you. He can also connect you with further resources available through the SBDC. Again, these are powerful things that are out there and available to our businesses that will help them with everything from training, business plan development, expansion of their current business, you name it. We are a part of it. Please come to us at any point and talk to us. You got to check out our website if you haven't already. It's business.garrettcountymd.gov. It is a fantastic resource and a collection of all of the things that we have available. You can give me a call at any point, 301-334-7281, and we can have a conversation. We can do that business visit, or we can help get you started on the path of business ownership. You can connect to our social media pages. Garrett County, Maryland Department of Business Development. It sounds like a mouthful, but jump on there. Make sure you're staying in touch. You're going to see future episodes of the Business B.E.A.R podcast. You're going to see what grants we have currently available. You're going to see what our state and federal partners are doing. You know, again, if we're not able to offer to you locally, maybe the state's got a program, maybe the Fed's got a program that we can connect you and your business to. The possibilities are endless, but staying informed and staying connected is the most important part. I can't stress and reiterate that enough. Feel free to drop by our offices. Try to give us a call. We are busy people. We'll get you on our schedule, but our offices are located at the courthouse. They're at 203 South 4th Street in Oakland. Biggest building in town, or tallest building in town. I'm not exactly sure. Biggest, oldest looking building in town. There we go. That works for me. So we're not hard to find. Get on down here and see me. I want to have you on my show. I know at the beginning of the program, I talked about some exciting projects coming up for 2024. We can't really get into the weeds here, but I will say it's going to be an exciting year for economic development in Garrett County. I like to say we'll see more groundbreaking here in 24 than we've seen probably in the last 10 years. but it's exciting quality of life improvements for everyone here in Garrett County, including our visitors, and we just can't wait for it to happen. We're thankful that you could be a part of it, and we want you to know, as always, that your economic development department is working, advocating for you, and we're happy to do so. Again, get a hold of us anytime. Visit our website, business.garrettcountymd.gov. Visit our social media pages on X, LinkedIn, and Facebook. The page names are Garrett County, Maryland, Department of Business Development. And of course, you can give us a call at 301-334-7281 or email me, cnorman@garrettcounty.org. All right, folks, I want to thank you for coming along on another episode of the Business B.E.A.R podcast. We didn't cover everything today, but I think we got some important points out there. As always, if you want to learn more, be following our social media, be following our website, and come on in and give me a call sometime. Thank you so much, folks. We'll see you next time. Again, this is Connor Norman. We'll see you on the other side.